So for you, because one of the things you pride yourself in your intro was the amount of times you got predictions right, okay? 2014, 2008, 2019, hey, you said this is what's going to be happening. When this happened and you made a comment like this and this error that was made, did that hurt your credibility at all? Did people say, yeah, you know what, I thought I can trust him, but no, I think he's just trying to do this because he wants to undermine Zelensky and he wants to one day be office. His ambitions are getting in the way. Was it viewed that way by certain people?
Many smart people understand this, but you need to realize the atmosphere in Ukraine. The people, most of them carry an emotional trauma from the war. It's very severe, and it does not let them think freely. Moreover, they're under an onslaught of huge amounts of propaganda from different directions, from the Russia side, from the Ukrainian side, so they're not free in their judgment. Other than that, there's another aspect. My way of speaking is very provoking, narcissistic, as they say. It triggers and provokes a lot of people. I predicted this in March 2022, at the height of my popularity, when I was crazy popular with people, would not go to bed without hearing me. They would not wake up without me. Military people would listen to me, from generals to housewives. Everybody would listen to me. Everybody would listen to me before going to bed and so forth. So they asked me, how is this all going to end? And I said that they will call me a traitor. This is on video. And how did I know? Because it always happens in therapy, and I was providing some sort of therapy for the nation.
This while you're in Ukraine.
Yes. I said this at the height of my popularity. It was the third week after the beginning of the war, and I said that they will, in the end, call me a traitor, because that always happens when people put their hopes on someone, and then the life happens, and their hopes don't come to pass, and the person they place their hope upon becomes the worst person in the world. It's a known phenomenon in therapy, and I was able to foresee it. Today, people, their attitudes towards me are very harsh and emotional. Figuratively, many people deify me, carry me on their arms, and consider me Messiah and Savior. And there are people who hate me and consider that I'm the concentration of evil and everything, the worst things that could happen with Ukraine. Yes.
If you were to put total amount of hours you've spent around Zelensky, where you're around him, not phone calls, physically around him, how many total hours have you spent with Zelensky?
Well, in the past, you see, the politicians, they trade an audience. Always. That's the main currency that a politician handles. So any audience is carefully protected. I would see Zelensky several times during the period from 2020 through 2022, including the times when I would stay in the office along with him and Yermak, resolving a list of specific military issues. For example, appointing Zelensky as a commander-in-chief. I did that. It was my project to appoint Zelensky as the commander-in-chief. And since this was a complex process, a closed-door process, we were discussing this topic in detail several times. When the war began, I was in the immediate proximity. I'm just trying to be precise. I was in the immediate proximity with Zelensky.
How many hours would you say?
It would be weeks. Weeks. Yes, hundreds of hours.
Okay, got it. So you've spent enough time around him to see how he is. You're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but the last 13 and a half years, I've been working on my first fiction book to write, ever. Fiction book to write. And while I finished this book, a year ago, I got the strangest phone call about one of the characters in the book where the guy wanted to meet with me, and he read the book. And afterwards, is like, wait a minute, am I the villain in the book? This is a story about a character named Asher, who is half Armenian, half Assyrian, whose father was involved in the Iranian Revolution, linked to Savak, working with the Shah, that they escape and he gets recruited to a secret society. Well, when you go to the secret society, it's been around for a couple thousand years. They've developed some of the craziest leaders of all time. And they test you. There's unique tests that they have at this society where they test to see your emotional mental toughness. One of the tests that they have is very rigorous. It's purely mental. Of course, there's a physical one, but one is mental and emotional. If you're Armenian, if you're Syrian, if you're Persian, this is a book you're going to be reading and saying, holy moly, this is the kind of stuff you talk about in here? Yes. If you're somebody that's fascinated by history, this is a book for you. Characters. There's a technology that this society, secret society, builds where you go into a vault. I won't spoil it for you. When you go down, they have a technology where you get to sit down and watch and have a 3-4 hour conversation with Tupac. You can set up a debate between Karl Marx and Ayn Rand. Karl Marx is in the book, who wrote Communist Manifesto. Ayn Rand, who wrote Atlas Shrugged, is in the book. Marilyn Monroe explains the concept of seduction and sex in the book. When you read the book, it's about development of the next leaders in the world and how they do it and how they've been doing it for many years. And it's also about how to prevent the end of civilization and how this organization goes about doing it. So I've never written a parenting book before, but if I ever wrote a parenting book, this is the closest thing to it because it's all mindset, a lot of crazy stories. Again, 13 and a half years. Trust me, I told myself I will not publish this book until I sell my insurance company and I'm fully disconnected from it, where it's no longer my responsibility 100%. When you read this, if you're a creative person, if you like fiction books, if you enjoyed Atlas Shrugged, or if you enjoy Divergent, if you like books like that, I think you're gonna enjoy reading this book. It's the creative side. Business books is very easy. Here's how you do it. Here's how this how it works. This is very creative. If you haven't placed the order yet, now you can order it on Simon & Schuster, Amazon. I'm going to put the link up below somewhere here, maybe even in my profile. Go order the book and read it. I've never written a book where I can't wait to read your reviews to see what you think about this book. So I'm going on this wild journey, and we have some plans with this book here. If you support the things that I work on, I would appreciate you going and reading the book, order the book on Amazon, and then post a review. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.